Hello everyone, I am Rishabh Kumar Rewar. I secured AIR 104 this year in the Civil Services examination, and I am here to talk about geography optional. So my optional was geography and I scored 275 marks this year, which considering this year's score is relatively one of the relatively on the higher side. So I'll start from the basics of how to start geography optional preparation, and I'll try to cover as many dimensions as I can. So the first idea is for the people who are just starting with geography optional is why to take geography optional, and there it begins from my reason for the same was I always loved geography since I was a child, and it's a good mix of a humanities and a scientific subject. So, and that is also reflected when you study about the subject, when you are going through the syllabus, and you will enjoy when you go through the whole journey, and the whole aspect of it being a good mix is what makes the subject interesting. So always keep that in mind. Second is about the part of strategy in geography. So I'll be giving out my strategy. However, there's a disclaimer here that there is no such thing as a perfect strategy. It's your own strategy that's perfect for you in your individual case. So my request to everyone would be to build your own strategy, to experiment, to be nimble, to go with trial and error. And if some elements of my journey help you, or you think that it might help you, you should try them. If it works for you, well and good. If not, no worries again. Just experiment. And don't totally emulate my method because it might not work for you. So starting with what I believe the two important fundamental pillars of the geography optional preparation is the syllabus and the previous year questions, because many a times it is seen since the past couple of years that the questions that are being asked aren't directly from the syllabus. So आप PYQs देखिए, आपको realize होगा कि there's something that links the previous year questions and the question that is coming in the next year. So you will get some sense of what kind of questions UPSC asks. Even if it is a bouncer, you will be prepared for it, and that preparation, that mental stability, that mental game is what helps on the day of the examination as well. So these two parts, syllabus and PYQ, study them meticulously. You should know each and every word of the syllabus. So moving on, what do you do after you know the syllabus and the previous year questions? It is what sources to refer to. So there's a standard book list that every person who studies geography follows. So then why are the marks very different? So the reason for that is there's no one good comprehensive consolidated source of geography preparation. There are almost 15 books that I refer to and that everyone refers to. So the challenge is to filter out what part of that book, what part of that resource is relevant. आप वो पार्ट आप सिलेबस में एंड प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन से पहचानिए कि वो कौन सा एलिमेंट है विच इज नीडेड, एंड आप सिर्फ वही पार्ट सेलेक्टिवली पढ़िए फ्रॉम द बुक. यू डोंट हैव टू रीड फ्रॉम कवर टू कवर. Just read that important, that specific chapter, that specific paragraph that you think is relevant, and add it into your notes. Then the aspect of other sources apart from the book, I'll even try to attach a list of the books in the description of the link. So apart from the book list, which is similar for everyone, I think the more important aspect is the online resources that you can use. There's a good scope in geography optional for that. There's this website EPG Pathshala that you can refer to study complex geography topics which you won't probably get good sources from anywhere else. You can study it from there. There are many YouTube channels that cater specifically to geography optional. So my way of studying through it was to see the geography optional syllabus topics and recognize that which part of them have I not covered, and then cover it from them and add it to my notes. That is the second part. Moving on, so I'll give a rough timeline as to how to move about with geography. So first is that once the optional, at least once should be covered by much before prelims. So before you exclusively start preparing for prelims, that is 3 or 4 months before the exam begins, your optional should be prepared by then. So one more important aspect is timeline of the preparation. So ideal case scenario in my opinion is that before you exclusively start preparing for prelims, that is 3 or 4 months before the prelims, your option should be covered once, and after that the important phase of the preparation is between prelims and mains. So during that I specifically face the challenge that GS and geography मैं कैसे divide करूँ अपना time. I have 3 months, how do I plan it? So my idea was that list down all the topics of geography optional from each unit, from paper 1, paper 2, each unit, list them down, and after at the end of each topic write the number of days that you think you will need to cover that topic. So if you think geomorphology is it in fact is a big subject, it might take 5 days. Something like population geography might take 3 days. So just list those numbers down and fit it into your 3-month schedule. Similarly, do it for the other GS topics, fit them into your 3-month schedule, so that you know you don't have to compromise on GS or geography throughout any part or any phase of these 3 months. So moving on is the aspect of test series. So I was part of the guidance 500 plus program, and so I gave their tests, and most of my notes were also made from there. So that helped me. I was also part of Shabbir's test series program. So my recommendation or my suggestion would be to go for many tests. If not one, go for 2 test series. Write as many tests as you can. In each test, the idea should be that you are improving from one test to the next test, and you are incorporating the feedback that you get. You are making your answers more rich. You are attempting more questions. The time of completion of the paper decreases. Ideally, you should try that in the test series. You can even finish the paper by 2 or 50 minutes, so that you have a 10-minute buffer. That is what I try to do. Add a lot of diagrams, add a lot of maps, add a lot of case studies. I'll come back to these later. But that is what the objective of a test series is, to simulate your experience of giving the exam. So you should keep that one thing in mind. Moving on is, I believe there are 2 or 3 X factors जो आपके आंसर को थोड़ा एनरिच करेंगे, जो आपके पेपर को थोड़ा जो बोलते जोग्राफिकल बनाएंगे आपके आंसर्स को. Something that might give you a few more extra marks. So what are those? First is creativity, especially in geography, especially in paper 2. So many people complain that paper 2 के जो questions lately have been very general. GS वाले क्वेश्चंस पूछे जा रहे हैं. हाउ डू यू राइट अ ज्योग्राफी आंसर इन दैट? बिकॉज इफ यू डोंट राइट अ ज्योग्राफी आंसर, आपको मार्क्स ही कम मिलते हैं. सो द चैलेंज इज, जैसे लास्ट ईयर देयर वाज अ क्वेश्चन आस्क्ड ऑन स्पेस सेक्टर, देयर वाज क्वेश्चन आस्क्ड ऑन एसेंशियल कमोडिटीज एक्ट. सो डायरेक्ट देयर क्वेश्चन देख के लगता है देयर इजंट अ डायरेक्ट लिंक टू कोर ज्योग्राफी कॉन्सेप्ट्स दैट यू हैव स्टडीड, और हाउ टू इंटीग्रेट दोज कॉन्सेप्ट्स इनटू दीज आंसर्स. सो the way I look at it is that the more general the paper is, the more generic the questions are, the more freedom you have to incorporate geography into it. So what do I mean by incorporating geography? It is that you add theories from paper 1. So for example, if there is a question on a vague question on agriculture, so use the theories that you have, the von Thunen model, etc. If there is a question on urban problems, use the central place theory and other lost theories, etc. that you have. So use those models very liberally, even if it isn't directly applicable to the core of the question. Add it somewhere, even if it's peripheral, आप उसको use करें. Use the perspectives in human geography topic. So use the name of scholars and the thinkers in that chapter. Use their theories, use their ideas. If there's any question that goes into the welfare of people. So be very open towards using welfare geography, in that use the names of the scholars like D.M. Smith, etc. So use these keywords. That is what differentiates your answers from your normal answer from a GS answer. Use these theories, use a lot of diagrams, use maps, be very creative with maps. A map can tell the whole picture in less space, in less time, in less number of words. So it benefits you while you are writing the answer. It benefits the examiner while he's checking, because it's easier for him. So काफी creativity लगाओ maps के अंदर, shade them, superimpose 2-3 maps or 2 maps on each other. Be very creative with the labeling of the maps. Use macro maps, use micro maps, use small regional maps. आप case study लिख रहे हैं तो आप उसके लिए map डाल दें. Geography is all about places, right? So आप जितना map use करें, the better it is. Moving on is the idea of again, as I mentioned earlier, the mindset thing. So last 2-3 or even more than 2-3 years से ये हो रहा है कि the compulsory questions that are asked, the question number 1 or the question number 5. So the first question in those compulsory questions is usually a question जो किसी ने कभी कहीं नहीं सुना होता, ना पढ़ा होता है. For example, last year there was this question, paper 1, question 1 part A. Write a short note on Halloween storms. किसी को नहीं पता Halloween storms क्या होते हैं. I'm pretty sure किसी ने नहीं पढ़ा होगा. Google करने पर भी नहीं मिल रहा था, as a matter of fact. So what do you do then? So you should realize this, that ये क्वेश्चन अगर आपको नहीं आता है तो ये किसी को भी नहीं आता है. So be mentally prepared for such questions. मैंने वो क्वेश्चन देखा था, मैंने उस टाइम के लिए छोड़ दिया. I went to other questions and I attempted it later, and I somehow tried to make sense of it, that अच्छा these are storms, it's Halloween, so it's Halloween. मैंने extended logic लगाया that ये October end, November beginning में कुछ storms होते होंगे, and Halloween USA मनाया जाता है, तो I thought ठीक है North America में storms है, तो I thought okay maybe temperate cyclones, and मैंने ऐसे कुछ बना के थोड़ा diagram बना दिया, and somehow मैंने 1.5 page भर दिया of the 2 pages that are given for a 10 marker question. So you have to be, your mindset should be on point. Confidence lose नहीं करना ऐसे questions में. Be very creative. Even if you don't get good marks, the examiner will appreciate ओहो क्या effort करा है. मतलब even if वो एकदम गलत हो, the examiner I don't think will be annoyed in such questions, because उसने देखा है कि बाकी सब लोगों ने question छोड़ा है. तो आपको थोड़े courage के ही थोड़ा बहुत कहीं ना कहीं you'll get into his good sides. So moving on from the mindset part of while you're giving the paper, another thing that's important is time management within those 3 hours of giving the paper. So, and in my opinion, geography जैसे paper में it is very important, because the paper is getting a bit lengthy lately. So time management is very important. So how do you manage time in that? What I did was, first give the first 3-4 at least 5 minutes to decide which questions do you have to attempt. So out of the 4 questions that you have, the 6 questions that are not compulsory, you have to choose 3. So how do you choose them? It depends on, you should first know yourself. What are your strengths? Which are your core strong areas? So for me it was human geography. So in paper 1 I usually preferred the questions on human geography, because I knew even if I don't know the question exactly, I'll be able to link some theory, something somewhere, and I'll be able to address the demand of the question. So know yourself, what is your strength, and preferably attempt those questions. There's no thumb rule to this. If you feel more comfortable with the physical geography questions at that moment, even if physical geography is not your strength, don't worry, go with it. Second thing is, how do you attempt those questions in the given time? So my way of doing it was, I would attempt the optional questions first. So I'll leave the compulsory questions, question 1 and question 5, for the last. So the first set of 3 questions, the 50 marks, the 20 plus 15 plus 15 marks, I used to give it almost 35 to 40 minutes. So around 14 minutes for the 14-15 minutes for the 20 marker, and 11-12 minutes for the 15 marker. That gives you around 36 to 40 minutes roughly. So the first question usually takes a little more time because it's when you have started writing, you haven't still got the momentum of writing. There's still some inertia, your brain's not working properly, you're thinking slowly. It takes some time to integrate different geographical concepts and use those theories, use those concepts in the answer. So the first question mein time lagta hai. After that, the second question that you are attempting, I used to give it around 35 minutes, 36 minutes. The third question, again 35, 36 minutes. So by now, I have finished 1 hour 50 minutes and I'm left with the 2 compulsory ones. So why I suggest doing the compulsory questions at the end is that many times these questions are the ones that are a little more tricky. So if you do them in the beginning, you might lose some confidence and it might harm it. You might put more time into them than what is required. It may the loss in confidence may damage your answers, the attempt of your answers in the latter questions. So now you have 1 hour 10 minutes, that is 70 minutes left, and you have almost 10 questions of 10 marks each. So 7 minutes for a 2-page answer is good enough, and that will leave you with roughly around 5 minutes at the end. And that is exactly what happened during my paper 1 and paper 2 when I was giving the actual exam. So this is what I followed while attempting the questions. There's again a catch in paper 2 because of the mapping question. So usually you get a little more time in paper 2 because the mapping question is 20 marks. It is worth 2 10 markers, but it takes relatively less time. So I think मेरे को 10 या 11 मिनट लगते थे, even less than that at times. So 10 11 12 minutes, you save 2-3 minutes there. That helps in paper 2. Moving on from that, from maps, from the timing of maps to how to actually prepare the mapping part of geography. So in my opinion, and I'm also guilty of that, कुछ ज़्यादा टेंशन होता है as students को about mapping. Firstly, remember that it's 20 marks worth. उससे ज़्यादा time spend मत करिए. What I believe is the ideal strategy is, firstly, do the past 30, you'll get compilations, you'll get books in the market of the past 30 years of mapping questions. So get one of those books, do all the mapping, all the locations that have been asked in the previous year questions. Almost 4 or 5 will be repeated from them in the paper that you're giving. So almost 40-50% of job is done. The rest, what I did is make a list, a compendium of different maps of locations which are very general. So make a map of hills of India, make a map of rivers of India, make another map where you have located all the passes, located all the lakes, Ramsar sites, wetlands, religious sites, hill stations, tourist destinations, etc., etc. Make almost 15-20 maps that you think are relevant, and more or less I believe 3 or 4 locations might even come from these maps. So you are largely done with maps. If you are able to locate 7 places out of the 10 that are given, you have done very well. So that should be a sort of benchmark. More than 7 is excellent. Those are bonus marks that you're getting. So don't worry too much about those maps. जब आप पढ़ रहे होते हो ज्योग्राफी का सिलेबस, पेपर 2 का सिलेबस, दी फिजियोग्राफी ऑफ इंडिया पार्ट, दी मिनरल्स, दी इंडस्ट्रीज, दी रिवर्स एक्सेट्रा, दी क्लाइमेटोलॉजी ऑफ इंडिया एक्सेट्रा, उसमें बहुत सारी लोकेशंस आएंगी. सो कीप योर माइंड, कीप योर आईज ओपन. जब आप ये सब चीज़ें पढ़ रहे हैं, देयर शुड बी अ सेंस ऑफ अ ज्योग्राफिकल इंक्विजिटिवनेस शुड बी इन यू. जब आप ये सब टॉपिक्स पढ़ रहे कि अच्छा देयर इज दिस आयरन एंड स्टील प्लांट है इधर छत्तीसगढ़ में, ये कहाँ है एग्जैक्टली, या उड़ीसा में देयर इज दिस प्लांट, एग्जैक्टली कहाँ है ये. आई शुड सी एटलस में खोलूँ या गूगल करूँ ये कहाँ है, मुझे एक रफ आइडिया लग जाए. अच्छा उड़ीसा में इधर नॉर्थ की साइड में है, या थोड़ा ईस्टर्न या छत्तीसगढ़ की बॉर्डर पे, या झारखंड की साइड कहीं है, या वेस्ट बंगाल की साइड में कहीं है, किस बॉर्डर पे आ रहा है, कितना दूर है, रफ थोड़ा आइडिया लग जाए. एंड दैट्स गुड इनफ फॉर मी जब मेरे पे मैपिंग क्वेश्चन आया. Another aspect of maps in geography is how do you use these maps in an answer. So your answer should not be the map itself, your answer should not have any maps either. ये भी सही नहीं है. So use your maps to complement and supplement, not complement, supplement the answer that you are writing. तो अगर if there is a genuine need to put a map that will explain it, डाल दीजिए. Even if there is no genuine need, आप तब भी डालिए. In my opinion, at least try कि almost best case scenario, almost हर पेज पे there is a map or a diagram or figure. So moving on from maps, one more important thing that will help you in getting good score in the geography optional paper is the use of case studies. So what I did was I made a list of around 15-20 case studies, or you can make even more than that, because the more case studies you put, it enriches the answer, it serves as an example to elaborate your point, as well as with the case study, if you put a small map that this place is located, the case study, the place on which the case study is based on is located here, it gives the examiner a feel that okay, he is a geography student, he knows his maps. So at the end of the day, we are looking for excuses to add maps. Kidding. So in the case studies part, make a list of 15-20, and you can use those case studies in very liberally in many areas. So for example, I had prepared a case study about the Chennai floods of 2015. So what do you need to prepare such a case study? A rough location of where's Chennai on the map, on a small micro regional map. What was the year, when did it happen, why did it happen, some data and facts as to how the drainage system of Chennai, how it was not enough for those times, how it was outdated and obsolete, what was the impact of swamps and the wetlands of Chennai, how they were destroyed, how there was urbanization, how there was concretization, some facts and figures about that, how the rivers, there are two rivers, Adyar and Coombe, how they were encroached upon, and that even aggravated the crisis. So these some facts, you have a case study with you. Now this case study can be used in a disaster management question on urban floods. This case study can be used in the example of environmental geography question of man's impact on nature. This case study can be used in a question on urban geography of how urban settlements are changing, developing, or what's their relationship with nature. These can be used again in any question about sustainable development, as to earlier this was the case and how the government is making amends, and now what are the visible changes that can be seen, what is the progress that has been made, etc. So such a case study can be used in regional development and planning as well. So one case study can be used in many places. If you have a list of 15-20, you will be able to put a case study in every question, and I am not saying that's required, but at least you'll have the means and resources to do so. Lastly, I'll be touching the aspect of GS and geography. So it might feel that there's not a big overlap between GS and geography, because geography as a subject alone is part of GS1, and almost 80 to 100 marks of question comes from geography, and that is one part where it directly helps, but it has many indirect advantages. So for example, I just shared the idea of making a list of case studies. तो अब वो case studies आप GS के question से भी use कर सकते हैं. The paper 3 में environment के question से liberally use those case studies, economics के question में use those case studies, development वाले questions में use them, geography के questions में तो you'll definitely use them. Geography के concepts हैं, जो thinkers हैं, उनके जो thoughts हैं, उनके जो quotes हैं, use them in essays. So if there's this quote by I'm forgetting the geographer, about how the earth nourishes us, feeds us, and we are the dust of a dust. It's about environmental determinism. So आप वो कोट कहीं ऐसे में भी यूज कर सकते हैं, आप वो कोट कहीं विदाउट इवन कोटिंग द ज्योग्राफर आप कभी कंक्लूजन में भी लगा सकते हैं वो. So there's a geography is a very integrative subject. तो इसमें इकोनॉमिक्स, यू स्टडी इकोनॉमिक ज्योग्राफी, यू स्टडी पॉपुलेशन ज्योग्राफी, यू स्टडी कल्चरल ज्योग्राफी, यू स्टडी सेटलमेंट ज्योग्राफी, अर्बन ज्योग्राफी, रूरल ज्योग्राफी, डेवलपमेंट ज्योग्राफी. तो इट्स अ वेरी इंटीग्रेटेड सब्जेक्ट. तो कहीं ना कहीं हर सब्जेक्ट में ज्योग्राफी विल हेल्प यू. इट्स जस्ट ऑन टू यू, आप उसको कैसे अप्लाई करते हैं, आप उसको कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं, because there is a big scope of using it in almost all GS subjects as well as essay. So do keep that in mind. Again, the aspect of mapping, while in the geography options, you are required to know how to draw a rough outline of the map of India and the map of world in around 30-40 seconds. So I'm pretty sure you all must be practicing that, because that helps a lot in the exam. So that thing, again, making maps and representing your ideas through those maps is again very relevant in GS, because कोई एग्जामिनर है, कोई नॉन ज्योग्राफी स्टूडेंट है, उसका आंसर देखने मैप नहीं दिखा, कहीं कोई डायग्राम नहीं दिखा, सिर्फ टेक्स्ट लिखा हुआ है, इतना अच्छा इंप्रेशन नहीं जाएगा. बट अचानक से देयर इज अनदर कॉपी ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल स्टूडेंट हु हैज बीन मेकिंग मैप्स फॉर द पास्ट 1 ईयर. वो हर आंसर में, हर 2-3 आंसर्स में एक बढ़िया सा मैप बना के डाल रहा है, इंडिया का मैप बना दिया एंड कुछ दिखा दिया. इवन इफ देयर इज अ हिस्ट्री और कल्चर क्वेश्चन, अगर कहीं लास्ट टाइम देयर वाज अ क्वेश्चन ऑन पालाज एंड द कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ पालाज, समथिंग लाइक दैट इन GS1. मैंने उसमें मैप बनाया था कि दिस वाज द रीजन वेयर पालाज वर. मैंने वो इंडिया का मैप बना दिया, ईस्टर्न इंडिया, एंड आई गेव अ लोकेशन ऑफ विक्रमशिला यूनिवर्सिटी एंड अदर नालंदा यूनिवर्सिटी कहाँ है, एक्सेट्रा, समथिंग लाइक दैट. सो आप काफ़ी ज़्यादा यूज़ कर सकते हैं ज्योग्राफी की टेक्निक, ज्योग्राफी का नॉलेज, ज्योग्राफी का कंटेंट इन दोज पेपर्स, एंड इट विल फेच यू मोर मार्क्स दैन द पीपल हु आर नॉट डूइंग दैट. So that is one thing that is to be kept in mind. Lastly, about geography optional preparation, my one last suggestion would be, there are 2 aspects, both are very important. First is what you do before attempting the paper, before the outside the examination hall, before going for the paper. फॉर दैट आप सभी सिलेबस के वर्ड्स अच्छे से, एक एक वर्ड जो ये मुझे काफ़ी लेट रियलाइज हुआ था दैट कोचिंग के नोट्स में जो पढ़ाया जाता है काफ़ी सिलेबस का पार्ट लेफ्ट आउट रहता है. ऑलमोस्ट 70% कवर होता है, 80% कवर होता है, रेस्ट 20% आपको कवर करना है. तो आप सिलेबस के वर्ड्स देखिए, देयर आर मेनी टॉपिक्स लाइक अप्लाइड जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी, जियो हाइड्रोलॉजी, अप्लाइड क्लाइमेटोलॉजी, जो नहीं पढ़ाया जाता है. सो आप इनको गूगल करिए अच्छे से, आप इनके यूट्यूब वीडियोस देखिए, उनसे खुद के नोट्स बनाइए एंड यूज देम. अगर आपने पढ़ाई है तो ना यूज देम समवेयर, अगर डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन भी नहीं आया. इफ देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन ऑन से a geomorphology or something about ground water, आप applied geomorphology या आप geohydrology का आप use करिए कंक्लूजन में. how can it be used in a practical sense, आप उसको कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं, आप उसको कंक्लूजन में डाल दीजिए. if there is a direct question on ground water table, आप कंक्लूजन में यूज करिए अप्लाइड जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी के ये बेनिफिट्स हैं एंड this is XYZ, how it is relevant, how it is important. That gives you a good conclusion and आपने दिखता भी है कि अरे इसने सिलेबस के ये टॉपिक्स पढ़े भी हैं. So that gives you an advantage. Second aspect and the last aspect is while you are in the examination hall, what you do then is probably more important than what you have done outside the examination hall. Because to present yourself, भले ही आपको सब आता हो, to present yourself in those 3 hours, to express yourself in a way that is visually appealing, that gives the examiner an idea that you know what you're doing, and that also comprehensively addresses the demand of the question. ये तीनों चीजें आपको करनी है during that examination, during those 3 hours. So how do you manage that is again a very big challenge. If you can overcome these 2 challenges, I'm pretty sure you will fare very well in geography optional. Lastly, I would like to extend my warmest wishes to everyone who's giving this exam, and especially those who are giving this exam with geography optional. I wish that your journey while you are exploring the subject is as interesting, is as exhilarating as it was for me. I loved geography and it has taught me a lot, and I hope it teaches you a lot too, and more than that, I hope it helps you in clearing this examination. And if there's one last thing, I would suggest you to always be inquisitive, especially in geography. Be geographically inquisitive. That will help you in this examination, not only in optional, in other GS papers as well. And with that, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you make it.